With the recent threat of bombing in Bangkok, did you nearly cancel the trip to Bangkok?
Absolutely not.
You carry on.
Yeah, of course, because otherwise they win, you know, and it shouldn't. And look, I mean, quite apart from anything else, I'm in the Middle East a lot, where frankly there's a lot more risks of attack than here. But we've suffered from this in the UK. You know, other European countries have suffered from this. So, I'm absolutely determined on this. There's absolutely no way I would want to cancel a visit here, and neither should other people.
You mentioned in your book, A Journey, that the world needs the US and Europe to be together for the world to be stronger. But Europe is getting weaker with the downgrade of credit rating of 9 Eurozone countries. So how can Europe be stronger?
Well, Europe's got to sort out the single currency crisis, I mean, for sure. But what I mean is long term. You know, the European project is basically right. You know, but the rationale for Europe today is not about peace within Europe. The original purpose of creating the European Union was to stop the countries in Europe going back to war. Right? That was the 20th century justification for Europe. Look, the countries of Europe aren't going to fight each other today. Okay, that's not the justification for Europe today. The justification for Europe in the 21st century is power. It's about how we combine together what are, in the way the world is developing, where all of us are small countries. So Indonesia is 3 times the population of Germany today. Thailand, if Thailand were part of the European Union, you'd be the 2nd largest nation in Europe. Okay, so the world's changing. For us to make an impact, therefore we have to join together in Europe. And we share values with the US, and did share values with Eastern partners like Thailand as well. And I think it's important for those of us who believe in democratic, open-minded societies to stick together.
Were you the Prime Minister of UK now, would you do the same with Prime Minister Cameron in not joining rescue package of Europe and being criticized as being selfish and isolating the rest of Europe?
Look, I don't, you know, if I'm going to attack my government, I tend to do it back home, really. So, look,
so your plan is to attack your government?
No, I'm not saying that, but look, I'm pro-European. You know, I believe Britain's future is in Europe, but I'm not going to get into those recent decisions, or at least not here.
Overall, with your experiences as the leader of the UK and with Euro in EU, what can you tell ASEAN in terms of integration?
I think integration for ASEAN is right. I think, you know, it makes a lot of sense for you guys, particularly in an area where you've got India on the western side of you and China on the eastern side. I think the ASEAN bloc makes a lot of sense. My advice would be to do the economics and let the politics flow from that. One of the reasons why Europe's got into this problem with the single currency is it took a political decision before it had got the economics sorted out. So I think for ASEAN, my advice would be concentrate on developing, you know, a single market for ASEAN and so on, and then let the politics come from that.
Are we on the right track of ASEAN Economic Community in 2015? That's the first aim of ASEAN.
Yes, I think you are on the right track. I think it's a sensible way of doing it. And if you create that ASEAN Economic Community, you've got some way to go, by the way, but I think it's absolutely the right ambition. Start with that, and then look at other ways of cooperating.
Is it essential to merge in terms of political differences? Because among 10 ASEAN countries, we are so much diverse in terms of political background, history, everything.
Look, I don't think there are any absolute rules about this. I mean, you know, for European countries, you know, they also share very deeply a certain culture and history and so on. Now, for ASEAN, I don't know, it's your... this is your decision, but I think, you know, you are very different nations, very different cultures, but, you know, you can make strength of that as well. I mean, one thing that's interesting, I mean, you've got, right, within ASEAN, you've got Thailand that's a predominantly Buddhist country, Indonesia predominantly Muslim, Philippines predominantly Christian.
Yes.
And then a country like Singapore is very mixed, right? So you've got lots of opportunities, I think. Also to show how countries from different cultures and different backgrounds can cooperate together. But I think you should take it step by step. That's, You know, look, Europe was created with the vast impulse of 2 world wars. Right? You're not in that situation in ASEAN, so you can take it step by step. And I think the creation of the ASEAN Economic Community, that's the right first step.
America said it before that America is back to Asia Pacific, and China is also see this region is very attractive. Where's the place of UK in this region?
Well, UK's got a lot of strong historical ties in this region, but you know, my view is that the UK will have to leverage some of those within Europe. So that's why I think Europe is very important for the UK. You know, UK dealing with China is one thing, UK within Europe dealing with China is another. So that's why I think long term, my country, whatever the present difficulties of Europe, long term, my country's got to be with Europe.
Not with ASEAN, not with the region.
Well, yeah, sure, we'll be, but you know, we're not going to join ASEAN, are we? It's a slight stretch, but what I'm saying is, of course, we will have our bilateral ties with each of the ASEAN countries. We've got very close ties with those countries, but we will also partly be there through Europe. And in the same way that you in Thailand will have close ties with European nations, but you will be partly in Europe through ASEAN.
Yes. When you were Prime Minister, you have private conversation with Her Majesty the Queen every week. Do you feel grateful to have that kind of conversation with someone with a great sense of history like Her Majesty?
Yes, it was very useful actually, because she did. I remember the very first thing she said to me when I had my first interview with her as Prime Minister was she said to me, "You are my 10th Prime Minister. The first one was Winston Churchill, and that was before you were born." So I thought, well, I'm dealing with someone with a big historical knowledge here. No, they were very good conversations.
After the death of Princess Diana, you came out and said that she is people's princess. How have you observed the role of the Queen has changed since then?
I think the Queen has been very wise about how she's really brought the monarchy on a journey of modernization. Because, you know, the people are very attached to the monarchy in the UK. But it's because there's a very strong sense of duty that the Queen has towards the country. And I think she's very well brought the monarchy into the modern world whilst retaining its sense of tradition and its, you know, mystique, which is, you know, difficult to do, and she's done it.
You came to visit some Thai students yesterday and you taught them English. What's the secret of learning English?
Practice, I'm afraid. But you know, I find learning languages difficult, but it's a really sensible thing today. I mean, my advice to any of all my own children today has been learn another language.
Yes.
You know, and because it just gives it opens up the world to you.
You are turning 59 this year. It is
Don't
reported.
remind me.
It is reported that the BBC has started filming your obituary. Are you upset about it?
No, I don't. Apparently, they just do this as a matter of course, but I don't. At least I hope they don't know something I don't. But I'm feeling fine.
From what I see, you are going to live for a long, long time, Your Excellency.
You're very kind. That is typical Thai politeness. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Your
Sawadee ka.
Excellency. สวัสดีค่ะ